And once I get it in place, of course, I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to take my screws. I'm going to secure it back to the dash where it goes, and that part is complete. Okay? Now, the last thing I need to do is I need to plug this into my box, because now I'm complete, I'm ready to plug in. So there's a trick to this. Not really a trick, but we always want to connect our antenna to the box before we connect power to the box. So we're going to take our box, and you can actually split these connections a little bit more if you want. You just pull them apart and the cable will come apart. And now I see on one end of the box I've got my antenna connections, and of course it's very simple. I match blue to blue and I match purple to purple. So I'm gonna put my connector on top. It'll only go in one way. I'm not gonna force it into place. I'm just gonna push until I hear a snap. All right, so that's connection 1, and then I've got purple to purple. It will only go in one way. And the secret to this is, you'll see these little push tabs on the antenna connections. These push tabs actually face this metal bar. So if you can't get it lined up, just remember that these push tabs face this metal bar. And the same thing, I'm going to put it over top, make sure I got it in there. I'm just going to give it a little bit of pressure, wait till it goes down, and snaps into place like so. All right, so my antenna connection is now complete. Now what I want to do is flip my box over, and I see that my power connection's on the other side, so I'm just going to take the long end of my ribbon cable, and the same as before, it has a groove and a groove, so it'll only plug in one way. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in, like so. Make sure it's seated properly, and as soon as I plug in, I get my yellow, red, and my green lights, and now they begin to flash. All right, so while they're flashing, I'm going to go ahead and set this down right here. I'm going to find the keys to the vehicle. And I'm going to go ahead and crank the vehicle. All right, so now there's a couple things you can do. If you've already filled out your installation card, then you can just, kind of hang out and wait for your lights. What we do is we now fill out our installation card. So again, you want to go through the vehicle, put your company name at the top. You want to put your driver's name, if that's how you want your vehicle labeled, or you're going to put your vehicle label. So let's say that you're, Acme Corporation, and you want John Doe to be the driver name. Well, just put John Doe here. Or let's say that you want to do it by a vehicle label instead, because maybe your drivers change from day to day. Well, let's say that instead of John Doe, you're going to put Truck 1. Well, then Acme Corporation, leave this blank, put Truck 1 right there. Next thing you want to do is get your get the VIN number for the vehicle. A couple different places you can find it. Top left-hand corner of the windshield always has it. Sometimes it'll be right here on the side of this pillar right here. Or last, it may be right here on the door, behind the door on a sticker on the side of the door. So you can find it in a couple different spots. Next thing we need is the color of your vehicle, and then we need an odometer reading. So to get an odometer reading, typically everybody has a computer now, so you're going to have to push some buttons before you can get there. We just need that number right there. And then go ahead and give us your license plate number and then the state where it's located. And then the last one, the next one is the Network Fleet unit serial number. Now the unit serial number is going to be found right here. So you see right here, the serial number on this one is 42001323887. So we're going to need that number, and we're going to need to put it right here on this, in these spaces. Most important part of this installation. Make sure you get it now, because if you don't get it, and you're complete with your vehicle and button it back up, you're going to have to take it all back apart and give us the number. Trust me, we've done it a million times. You want to make sure you get your vehicle year, your vehicle make, and your vehicle model. Go ahead and put those in. And now you're complete with your card, so go ahead and put your card in a secure location where you can find it later. And now what I want to do is I want to go back to my box, And I just want to see if my box is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I see now that I've got a yellow solid, my green's blinking, my red's kind of blinking a little bit. All right, so what you want to look for when this is complete and active, it could take up to 15 minutes to get this done. You'll see your yellow and your green will be solid, and they will blink together about every 8 to 10 seconds. And when you have that, you're done and you're ready to move on to the next step. Now the next step involves your zip ties. Now, very important, these three green zip ties here, what these are tamper evident, or you know, tamper deterrents, I guess you would say. These all have Network Fleet do not remove on them. You can't buy these anywhere. They only come in the box, and they only come with 3, so you can't replace them if they ever get cut. That's why this is one of the last things that you do after your box is locked on. Make sure that it's completely locked on before you put the zip ties on it and secure it in place. If you have to cut them off, you can't replace them with these. They only give you 3. All right, so once your box is locked in place, take your 3 zip ties, and they basically go in like so. You may want to bend the ends of these a little bit to make it a little bit easier. We typically bend the end, and it just goes in right behind this push tab. So you get it in like so, and you push down and you'll see it go through. And again, you may want to bend the end of these to make it easier to get it in there. But it goes through like so, and then you just pull it through. Sometimes it's tough to pull through. If it is, just grab a pair of pliers and pull it all the way through. But then this simply pulls down, you know, put it through the hole, zip it tight, clip it off, and then you're done. You want to do that on both of these. And then for your last one, you want to secure your ribbon cable in place. And all you do here is in this slot right here, and then back through the other slot right there. And you can pull it tight, and then push it back through your eye hole and get it tight and clip it off, and you're done. You're ready to secure your box inside your dash compartment. All right, so the last part of your installation is getting this unit and all this wire into the final resting spot under this dash compartment where you picked out earlier. So the most important part of this step is, as you're folding the unit, the first thing you want to make sure is that your ribbon cable is completely straight coming out of the dash. No twists in it, that kind of thing. Just make sure it's completely straight all the way across. So as you begin to fold this ribbon cable over top of your box, just grab your box in one hand and start folding your ribbon cable over on top of itself. You want to make sure that you have a nice uniform bend in this cable. Don't fold it over and then try to crimp this down in half. There's very small wires inside this ribbon cable that you run the risk of breaking if you do that. So after you get this folded over itself like so, you want to get it to a certain point. Okay, so we're about as much as we can do. Now you can do one of two things. We've flipped the box over, and we're going to do the same thing with the antenna wire side. We're just going to roll it on itself like so. All right, so now you see what our unit looks like once we've got both sides folded. And now all we're going to do is take a zip tie from the box. We're going to put it around the entire box like so. Run it through the eye hole, pull it tight, clip it. And now we are ready to stuff our box into our dash. And then the last part is just you know, work it in there. Don't force anything in there. Just work it in there until you get it in a good spot. And then make sure you get a zip tie around it. Secure it in place. Make sure it's not going to fall out of the dash. And when that's complete, you go ahead and put your dash back together, and you're ready to go. And that concludes the installation of a Network Fleet 4200 GPS tracking unit with a ribbon cable.